You don't need to be a thrill seeker to build a business. You need control. A paycheck feels safe because someone else is managing the risk, not because the risk disappeared. As you watch this, think of it like an example you can use. For example, imagine a neighborhood coffee shop. If the owner wants regulars to trust them, they don't brag about bold moves. They show control, steady hours, clear menus, clean books, and a plan for when the espresso machine breaks. Buyers trust what looks managed. Let's talk about why this matters. Bragging about big bets often makes people wonder if you're guessing. I don't sell bravado, I show control. That means simple systems, checklists, right-sized commitments, and a clear worst case I can live with. For example, imagine a daycare. Parents aren't looking for daring. They're looking for routines, backups, and fast communication when something changes. In business, control is what calms people down. The job may feel safer when someone owns the plan, but you can own the plan yourself. Control shrinks risk, and proof of control builds trust. Here's the tension you might be feeling. You think you need to look daring to stand out, but buyers aren't hiring daredevils. They're hiring dependable operators. They're not asking, how bold are you? They're really thinking, will you protect my time, my money, and my reputation? When you can't explain the downside or how you prevent it, people assume you'll learn on their dime. That's when deals stall, investors pass, and teams start to feel anxious. Not because your idea is bad, but because you haven't shown control. So let's reframe entrepreneurship for what it really is, problem solving. My job isn't to swing for the fences. My job is to remove the risk in small, repeatable ways. I design simple systems that make results boring on purpose, clear inputs, visible checkpoints, and preset responses when things drift. That's not less ambitious. That's how you grow without gambling. For example, imagine a mobile car wash. The owner books within their routes, confirms appointments the night before, and has a rain plan. Boring? Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. Here's how I do risk in practice and how you can too. Start small. Pick 5 risks you know show up again and again. Revenue tied to one big customer, not enough capacity to deliver, cash running thin, one person holding all the knowledge, your main marketing channel slowing down. Now for each risk, write 4 things. The trigger that tells you it's happening, the prevention that makes it less likely, the fallback you'll use if it hits, and the person who decides and takes action. For example, imagine a local bakery. If orders from one cafe drop by 30% in a week, that's a trigger. Prevention is a weekly check on order mix. Fallback is a 2-day push to sell daily specials direct to the neighborhood or call 2 other cafes. Decision owner is named in writing. No guesswork. If your lead stylist at a salon resigns, the trigger is notice given. Prevention is cross-chaining and step-by-step guides for every service. Fallback is a short list of on-call stylists and a priority booking plan. Again, no drama, just moves you decided ahead of time. Next, turn the fog into simple math. Know your worst case. How many months of cash do you have if nothing changes? What's your break even each month? And which products or clients cover it? What's the most you can lose on a single deal and still sleep at night? Set tripwires that force action. If months of cash drop below 4, pause non-essential hiring and cut nice-to-have tools. If the profit on your sales drops below 45% 2 weeks in a row, review prices and trim scope. If a customer asks for changes beyond 50% of their original plan, send a change order or pause work until terms reset. These aren't vibes. These are guardrails that stop a slow bleed. So for example, imagine a landscaping business. If fuel costs jump and margins slip, the owner adjusts route density that week and may raise prices on rush jobs the next week, not next quarter. Then make your control visible to buyers. Add a one-page how we reduce risk section in every proposal. Spell out the scope, what done looks like, how changes work, timelines, how often you'll communicate, what you guarantee with reasonable limits, of course, and how to escalate with names and response times. You're not saying, trust me, you're saying, here's the system. Imagine a wedding planner. Couples relax when they see the exact check-ins, vendor backup plan, weather plan, and who to call if something goes sideways. This isn't theory. Look at common fields around us. In aviation, pilots don't wing it. They use checklists, practice failures, and assign roles before takeoff. Passengers relax because the plan is clear. In investing, no one puts the whole fund in one pick. Position sizes and stop losses keep a bad trade from sinking the ship. In construction, change orders keep just one more thing from blowing the budget. In software, staged rollouts and response plans keep updates safe. You can copy these patterns. For example, imagine a food truck. They prep a limited menu for speed, test a new item at one location before adding it everywhere, and have a generator backup. That's control. And here's the twist most people miss. De-risking is a great sales tool. When I show how I prevent scope creep, cap downsize, and escalate when needed, buyers lean in. They aren't buying ideas, they're buying predictability. If your proposal is a vibe, your delivery is custom every time, and your promises are vague, you look like a gamble. Charisma may win a quick job, but steady systems win the long reference-worthy ones. Let me name a few patterns that quietly break businesses. People try to impress with custom everything, but without guardrails, custom becomes chaos. The fix is to standardize most of your service and customize a small part, then clearly state what's included and what isn't. People offer unlimited support, but unlimited is an unpriced risk. The fix is to define response times, support hours, and a fair use rule. People avoid naming decision owners, so issues bounce around while the clock runs. The fix is to assign roles and the authority on day one. People celebrate one giant customer, but one giant customer ends up owning their calendar and cash flow. The fix is to cap how much any one client can represent and use step-up pricing so risk stays spread out. People talk about big visions when buyers need to hear the safety plan. The fix is to lead with a system that keeps outcomes steady. For example, imagine a home cleaning service. They sell set packages with clear add-ons, promise replies within one business day, and rotate crews so no home depends on one person. If you're thinking, but isn't risk the exciting part of entrepreneurship? I want to be clear. The thrill shouldn't come from chaos. It should come from precision, seeing a plan work, watching your team execute, and seeing your customer breathe easier because you handled the rough air without drama. Control is the flex, and control is built, not declared. Here's a simple place to start today. Write down your top 5 risks. For each one, add the trigger, the prevention plan, the fallback plan, and the decision owner. Then face your cash numbers, how many months of runway you have, your break-even revenue, and the most you'll risk on a single deal. Set tripwires that make you act before you feel like it. Finally, add that one-page risk reduction section to your next proposal. Plain English, on scope, change rules, timelines, guarantees with limits, and escalation contacts. Do these steps and 2 things happen fast. Buyers trust you more, and you make better choices under pressure. One more reframe before we close. A job feels safe because someone else owns the controls. Entrepreneurship feels scary when no one owns the controls. The moment you take the levers, systems, thresholds, and decisions rights, the fear drops and your odds go up. That isn't showmanship. That's how pros operate. For example, imagining a tutoring center, once they set weekly check-ins, clear curriculum plans, and a sub list for 6 days, parents stop worrying about renewing on their own. If this clicked, don't just nod. Move. Take 15 minutes today to list your 5 risks and your tripwires, and add the mitigation page to your next proposal. Commit to the identity that actually scales. I don't take big risks, I remove them. When you own the risk, you earn the trust, and the business starts working without you. Want the one-page reduction template I use? Check out the link below, and I'll help you get started.